Good evening, everybody. Another week has gone by. But this time, I got some good news for you. Final Fantasy XIV Online, the grind is done. I got all my jobs to level 90, so I can finally do the Endwalker story. Now, I am not going to be rushing to complete the Endwalker story as soon as possible, but I will get through the story and enjoy it for all its glory, I hope. Also, Rainbow Six Siege X. Now, I'm gonna be honest about Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. It's a solid game. I give him that, but the game has gotten a little stale for me. Like there hasn't been enough things added to the game to keep it fresh. I mean, the gunplay is solid, the maps are solid, but you kind of start to get tired of the game. I mean, it's slowly getting to the point where I'll sometimes pop it in and play it for like a bit, whether it's the non-competitive modes or the competitive mode or ranked mode in this case. It's something I don't want to do as much anymore. So far right now, Marvel Rivals is my main focus right now besides Final Fantasy XIV Online. I've been having fun with that, and hopefully the game will continue to prosper, and hopefully they're not going to make questionable decisions like what happened to Overwatch. I mean, Overwatch still has players, like I said before, but a lot of decisions that did not get them good PR, to say the least. But I also got other games here behind me on the Steam page that I will try to do whenever I get the chance and be in the mood for. It does help if we do have a huge audience and lots of audience participation to make things more interesting, especially with the chatting and all that stuff. But I also have to go with what my mood is because there's only so many things I can talk about. I mean, sure, I can bring up certain topics ahead of time, but even those can dry up pretty quickly. So it's always good to have, the audience involvement, whether it's good or bad, so they can make the things more lively, to say the least. And yeah, Fragpunk. I want to talk about that a little bit. It's a bit better compared to Valorant and Counter Strike, but who knows how if that game is gonna have any longevity. Sometimes you can tell how the game is gonna go on when it comes to the launch. It's basically the more or less the same for all live action service games nowadays. You better make a good first impression, whether it's free or you have to pay the game for it. Also, VR. I've been struggling to do that. I was gonna do VR this week, but I wasn't in the best mood at all. So I just did whatever I could just to get through the week or get through my days off. I still got my VR headset ready to go, but it's sort of like Rainbow Six Siege in a way. It's not something I do as much, but I try to do it when I get the chance voluntarily. You try to do it, but you don't want to feel like you're forced to do it because that's when it stops becoming fun. You just have to do what you personally do best. So just because, let's say this X creator, doesn't matter who they are, but let's say this X creator likes doing CFDs and nothing else. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me personally, I like to do certain games and just flop every once in a while. Sometimes I'll do my rivals. Sometimes I'll do Final Fantasy 14. Sometimes I'll do casual games. That's how it goes with me. And it not be the best on building up an audience, as the statistics have been shown uh, from what I have seen. But I personally like to do what I like doing. It's not gonna please everybody, but that what makes me happy personally. And even after all these years, I still have people that I met 2, 3 years ago, or people that popped in chat 2 or 3 years ago, and it's always nice to see them come in voluntarily and just chat things up every once in a while. Obviously, it's a whole lot more better. It's obviously a lot better when you got a lot more people, but I'm continue to be very fortunate that I even have an audience because everything is oversaturated, whether it's YouTube or even this Twitch page that we're doing. But again, I'm very fortunate to have an audience, and I thank you guys for that for the last 3+ years. If this can turn full time, you bet I would do this. It's always nice to entertain the audience, whether it's just make their stressful day a little bit less stressful based on just the hangouts that we do, whether it's a game or just talking it up. I'm not very good at podcasting. I mean, some people call it a podcast, some people don't, but it's basically more or less the same. I'm actually not that very good at podcasting. I did try it as experimental with Blinded 2 in the past, but looking back on it, it could have been done a whole lot better. You need to plan it out ahead of time. You actually have to research, which I did not do. I thought I could do it on the fly. Not the best choice because you have to actually load up the clips ahead of time and just have talking points ahead of time so you're not gonna be talking awkwardly. Because if you don't have anything planned, it's just gonna be awkward. Whether it's a 1 hour recording or 2 hour recording, whatever. So yeah, that's what's been going on in my mind in the last week or so. And hopefully, there will be. Hopefully, I almost forgot single player games. I haven't been in the mood to do a playthrough on anything like that this week at all. I'm trying so hard to get into the mood to do a playthrough of Cyberpunk 2077 or even System Shock, but my mind right now is thinking about Cyberpunk 2077. I have not been in a single player or co-op playthrough since Baldur's Gate 3 got me very interested. Man, I missed that game. It was fun from start to finish. But yeah, it depends on my mood. And even if I was financially well off, it does mean my schedule can obviously be a lot more flexible, but it still comes down to what the mood I'm in. But I'm fortunate to still be doing this. Anyway, thank you all so much for continuing to support this little show of ours. We also have a merch store, by the way, which I sometimes mention in these videos, but we haven't had anybody buy stuff in the merch store yet, so it'd be nice to know if the quality is good. So let me know on that. I also had to reduce the prices for some of them because when you add more images or logos to the design, it does make it more expensive. But I'm willing to lower the price to where I get zero profit as long as the fans get the merch. That's the main thing I care about. So as long as my fans get the merch, I'm happy. Obviously, I like to make a profit out of it, but that's basically what I saw in the new merch store. We used to have the Stream Elements merch store, but it got discontinued, so we're using a different one instead, which you can find very easily. Anyway, thank you all so much for continuing to support this little show of ours for the last 3+ years. I am very glad and fortunate to have you guys still here. For those of you that either are new here or are still here after all these years, thank you. Let's continue.